all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
When you walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! I'm going to the house! I'm going to the house! When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready? I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how like we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up with chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from that. He's a man. They can be a hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's who I did. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready? I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
Now this game is just getting started right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is a chilly winning Wednesday here on the show. And note to self, do not carry your hoodie inside when it's cold. Put it on and wear it. Because, man, I carried that bad boy in, and I was just like, what in the world? I moved down here to get away from this kind of weather, man. It is chilly winds blowing out there in Houston today. Big shout out to my friend, high school classmate, T. Barnes. Didn't we go to Cameron Park together? Big shout out to my longtime friend, T. Barnes. She doing big things over there in North Carolina, I believe she's in. But big shout out to her. Karen Gibson, my homegirl. She's from Ohio. Of course, I stomped the yard. Well, no, I didn't stomp the yard, but I stomped the grounds in Ohio. And Willy Gibson, broadcast journalist from The Ohio State, graduated there. And he covers the Big Ten. Got some breaking news out of there. And he also covers the Cleveland Browns. I don't think there's any breaking news there, but I got some breaking news for you, Willy Gibson. Guy that I'm going to have on the show tomorrow, Chris Gardner from Houston Roundball Review, just dropped me a deal from Adrian Wojnarowski, and you know what that means. The Philadelphia 76ers are in advanced talk on a deal to hire Daryl Morey to oversee the franchise's basketball operations.
Daryl Morey, the gap year, Daryl Morey, and the time.
Yeah. And I want to go hang out with my children. They taking some time off from school. I want to figure out what I want to do because, I'm real smart and I might not want to do basketball. I might want to do plays and dramas and, consortiums and all of that. And now he's talking numbers with the Philadelphia 76ers.
You know what? As I thought about it, Tillman Fertitta said something when Morey left. He said if he does come back, it'll be in the Eastern Conference. So maybe there was a prearranged deal, like, hey, you can go, but you can't come in the West. I don't know. And he's an Ohio guy at that. So,
I know Daryl Morey was from my hometown, bro. I could have parlayed that into some things.
Oh yeah, right outside of Cleveland. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll know. Well, we used to ride the elevator together, so I would get my inside scoop. Like, Daryl, we got to quit meeting like this. By the way, And I wish I had known that because, he's a great dude one-on-one, but he's kind of buttoned up when he's in the mix. Somebody just called in. I'm afraid to take the call, but, I cannot be afraid on my own show, right?
Not at all.
You want to try it?
Run that. Do it.
You want to try it?
Let's go.
All right, let's see. Hello, you're live on a lunch break. They hung up. They hung up just like that.
They got scared. They got scared.
I got to tell them, listen, I don't have a producer in the show like some other stations do. So if you hear the phone click and then you hear me talking, that means you're in queue and I'll come to you next. So call back, 281-453-1000. Please be polite and respectful, and we'll talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. But again, the breaking news here out of Houston, twofold. The previous general manager of the Rockets in talks with the Philadelphia 76ers about joining Doc Rivers and Elton Brand and all those good folks over there to see if they can turn around the Sixers. And the Texans have shut down their facility. Even though they're on a bye week, they shut down their facility today due to a positive COVID-19 test.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, I'm sorry, go ahead. You were saying?
No, I was going to say that's the breaking news out of Houston today. You were saying that's unfortunate?
Oh, without question. I mean, a lot of people say, well, we knew this would happen, and we kind of expected this. Expect it or not, anytime you hear that, it's not, hey, it's Wednesday, look what happened. It's still an unfortunate situation, regardless of who it is. So,
right.
We can only hope the best, and, hopefully it is just a one, and perhaps, with the sitting down in the facility, it stopped the spreading, and that
right.
person will recover.
Yep. And I'm not one of those reporters who needs to know the name. I'm not pushing for that. I'm not calling down to the facility, Amy and Allie. I'm not calling them, who had the Rona. I'm not doing that. Again, my sincere thoughts and prayers are for that person, that they recover and that they, heal up nicely. The Texans are off this week, so there's nothing to be jacking them about. Maybe some trade rumors and that, verifying that. But I'm holding on that. Last night, the LA Dodgers closed out their 7th World Series championship, coming from behind to beat Tampa 3-1. Very, very good pitching matchup early on. A lot of speculation about Cash taking out his starter when he did. But, I asked a great colleague, Erica Fernandez, if she thought that Cash would not be brought back as a result of doing that. And my thought is that's what he's done all year long. So why did we not think he would do that in the World Series? I could tell the starter was upset about it, though, bro. He was like, what the? Hi, y'all.
Yeah. Without question. I mean, do you blame him? I mean, he was dealing. What, he struck out half the batters that he faced? And, Mookie, like you said, Mookie Betts smiled at Dave Roberts when they took him out. So they knew, the Dodgers knew. But he was dealing with 73 pitches through 5. I understand analytics, and you, of all people down there in Houston, I'm sure you guys know it well. You gotta game 6 of the World Series. You gotta let him go. I believe you had to let him go.
Well, we did experience that a couple of years ago with Garrett Cole dealing in a very important game, 7. And A.J. Hinch went out there and yanked him, and it didn't turn out well. And, I don't know. No, Garrett Cole wasn't in. He didn't even get the ball. I think it was Greinke that he didn't let finish the inning. And Greinke didn't forget it. Garrett was like, I've had look in the post-game interviews. It's like, I had a good time here in Houston. Yeah, it's like I'm out. I don't even know where I'm going. I just know I ain't staying here. Right. So I don't know though. I guess I don't know. I get the old school thinking about it. Let me finish it out. But with the it's a must win game, and I'm no longer getting mad at these coaches and managers and guys for rolling the dice, taking a shot, trying to make something happen. I mean, we always get mad when they are too conservative, and then when they take the shot, I feel like some of us vilify them. I'm not saying you're doing it, but I saw some people really coming at him, and it's like, this guy has been doing this right here all season long and last season. So it's kind of hard to get on him now because that's what he does. That's who he is.
You're right. I mean, and I am a traditionalist. You know, I understand analytics. I understand in 2020 this is the world we live in. But I mean, he was dealing. And you know, and the whole magic number. You see the lineup for the third time. Bad things happen, and you know, it happened to Clayton Kershaw. Dave Roberts got second guessed on Sunday for pulling Kershaw when he did, and it worked out for him. In this case, he put Cash put in Anderson, who had given up runs in 6 straight postseason games, and Mookie Betts left the double down the line, and that was it.
Yep. Yeah. Hold the thought. Let's get some commercials in real quick. We'll come right back with more right here. Willy Gibson joining us here on Winning Wednesday. Of course, I'll announce the winner of the Lunch Break Weekly Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge that we do every week on the show. That's the whole name of the thing. I got to get a T-shirt or a couple of T-shirts that say that. But anyway, we'll do all that next right here on the Lunch Break. Hey, listen, if you haven't gotten out to vote, this is the last week to do it early. You got to get it done by Friday. You got to get it done by Friday. So please get out and vote in the Houston area, in the Texas area. You got to do it by Friday. All right, we'll be right back right after this on the Lunch Break.
Congresswoman Lizzie Fletcher is standing with us for affordable health care, for public education, for making sure every vote is counted. It's why Mayor Turner and President Obama support Lizzie Fletcher for Congress. Wesley Hunt stands with Donald Trump. Wesley Hunt wants to repeal Obamacare and deny insurance to people with pre-existing conditions. Vote Lizzie Fletcher for Congress.
I'm Lizzie Fletcher, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Elizabeth Panel Fletcher for Congress.
One day. This is Earl G. Robinson. When people say my vote doesn't matter, when you don't vote, your vote counts against you. The other side gets a vote. If you want to fix our broken criminal justice system and reform your local police department to make it more accountable, you need to vote. If you want to increase economic prosperity in the black community, you need to vote. If you want to protect the right to vote, you need to vote. If you want more funding for our schools, you need to vote. Voting does matter. If Black Lives Matter to you, you need to vote. Early voting begins on October 13th and ends on October 30th. Election day is November 3rd. You need to vote. We all need to vote. If you don't vote, it will matter.
Paid for by the Communications Workers of America, District 6. Claude Cummings Jr., Vice President.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered.
Is this me and you today?
No upfront cost to you.
David,
they only get paid if you win. So
they let his kid's school out early because of the storm.
800-251-7816.
He avoided one storm to deal with another. I understood.
7816.
Understood.
251-7816.
Yeah. I didn't start this, bro. He kind of gave me the one day when I was watching. So I'm not him. It's all dude right here.
AJ from South Park. I listened to the Lunch Break with AJ Jones.
It's twice. I've been here. I'm here.
All right, y'all. We're back here on the Lunch Break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones, and, man, I don't know who I got joining us today, man. This guy looks like Willy Gibson, sounds like Willy Gibson, but he's ruthless, man. This cat is ruthless. Who are you right now?
No. Willy Gibson is here. I just asked the question, and I reaffirmed that Willy Gibson is here. And I heard some things. You know how we do in this business. We hear things, and we kind of follow up.
Hold on. Let me get a caller on. See if they.
Okay.
Hello, you're live on the Lunch Break. Who's this?
Hey, Jay, what's going on, bro? It's Keith, man.
Hey, Keith, y'all, this cat right here just got an amazing recognition, man. Keith, bruh, I didn't know you was the man like that. I knew you were the man, but I didn't know you were the man like that, bruh. You know what I'm saying?
Don't do that, bro. That's horrible, man. No, appreciate it, man. It's honestly, it's self-sacrificing, man. So, but I thank you so much for recognizing it, man. But I called you to talk about, obviously, what I told you I was going to call you to talk about, man, is my two disappointing teams for the football season, both the Cowboys and the Longhorns. And I'll start with the Cowboys just by saying that this season is a wash, and Jerry Jones needs to reevaluate every single thing about the team, including himself. It's just been absolutely despicable.
Yeah, Keith. In fact, they just traded away Griffin. I heard they're going to release Don Terry Poe and one of the defensive backs if they can't get deals for them. So I got to give credit to Willy Gibson right here. He said they were going to be sellers and not buyers, and Jerry Jones is like throwing stuff out the door.
Yeah, and matter of fact, by the way, kudos hello, Mr. Gibson. Listen to you and you on the show. You do a great job. So always love hearing you guys talk as well.
He's texting insults over at David Grubb right now.
No, this Wisconsin thing is hot. No. Thank you, Brother Keith. I appreciate it.
Slugs over at David Grubb right now, man. Keith, you got to pray for him. Put his name on the prayer list when we meet this coming Saturday, bro.
You got it, man. Hey, listen, real quick, I want to talk about the Longhorns, and since Mr. Gibson is on the line, maybe he can speak to a little bit of this in terms of talent, because I know being at Ohio State, we got Tom Herman, obviously via U of H, but I'm more concerned with the fact that Tom Herman is not a builder of programs more than he is he's a good manager, but he's not a builder of programs. And what I mean by that is when you go out and recruit players, and this is no knock on any of the players at Texas, except for I feel like, they were asked to come play at a university, and a lot of those young men were talented in high school. And I don't want to take anything away from what they accomplished in high school. And because Texas finished in 2018 and 2019 as a number 3 class in college football recruiting. However, I firmly believe that a lot of these kids that we have picked up and brought to Texas, either one, have reached their full potential in high school, and or two, they're not being properly developed. And I lean towards them not being properly developed or coached properly. Because, man, there's no way you can tell me the production that we're seeing on the field right now in Texas is anywhere close to a number 3 national recruiting rank. And you take a look at the same classes of people, like a Georgia or Alabama or even Ohio State, for that matter, and their players come in and they produce, and they're expected to produce. And I feel like it's killing our program right now. What do you guys think?
Willie, I'm going to let you take first stab at that because you and I have talked extensively about who Tom Herman really is versus who folks think he is down here in the South, where he's not as well known as he is up there in the Midwest.
Well, a couple things. I think, for one, it's a culture. It's a culture. And you as the head coach have to build that culture. And it begins with your staff. If you don't have a good staff, you got to have good people around you. That's who develops your talent. Your head coach is the CEO, the manager, if you will, but your staff has to be able to build that talent. And for what I know of the staff, I don't know a lot. The pieces that I do know, there are a lot of guys that left Ohio State to go there with him. Mike Yursich, Tim Beck, Stan Drayton. And outside of Stan Drayton, what I know of those guys up here is they couldn't get it done here. So I don't know what they're doing in Texas. And then your strength and conditioning. If you're not developing players outside of the season, then they can come here, they can come there 5-star all day long. Tom Herman here was a great quarterback coach. Take that not away from him. Phenomenal quarterback coach. but it was just that he was a quarterback coach. You know,
Right.
he got credit, he got the title of offensive coordinator, but everybody knew that was Urban Meyer's offense. So
Right.
that, and I don't fault him. I don't fault him at all. You strike while the iron's hot. You got to go. But I think now people down there are starting to see, hey, I thought we had 24 care and then we got pyrite.
Yeah. And Keith, what I'll tell you just from my experience of Herman, he's one of those guys that come in and it was so bad when he got there that the increase that he got seems, like success. But the reality is, which program has he taken and gotten over the top? He got close at U of H, but look at what happened when he got out of there. Look at what happened with U of H. And I can't blame all that on Major Applewhite. So, again, culture is a lot. Bringing the right people around you is big. But, I said earlier this season, the good coaches that know how to prepare their teams and get them ready are the ones that will be successful. Those that don't, I don't want to hear the excuse about Corona, all that, because all of them had the same, started from the same spot. And either you prepared your team or you didn't. And we see what we see with UT.
Bro, that's exactly, and I'll leave you guys at this. This is my reason why I am so frustrated with him.
Yeah.
Every single post-game news conference that he has.
Wait, Keith, hold on. I hate to do it. I got to get to this commercial. It's one of our advertisers. We'll be right back with Keith and Willy Gibson right after this.
Ellis. And here is my friend and our next vice president.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Kamala. When we vote, things change. When we vote, we address the need for all people to be treated with dignity and respect in our country.
Vote early, October 13th.
I apologize for that. I had something about Wisconsin pop up. I heard the second part. I apologize for that.
Tuesday back, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. All right, it's election time, which means political ads are everywhere. But there's a reason for that. This is important. We have a president who is a straight-up racist, who uses racist language and attacks to divide Americans against each other. We don't just need a new president, we need leaders who aren't afraid to stand up to Trump. But our senator, Republican John Cornyn, he votes with Donald Trump more than 95% of the time. So what do we do about it? We vote for Democrat MJ Hagar. MJ is a combat veteran and is a working mom who knows healthcare costs are out of control. She'll fight for affordable healthcare, cheaper prescription drug prices, and protect people with pre-existing conditions. And she's endorsed by President Obama. But most importantly, she's got the courage to stand up to Donald Trump. So vote. Vote Democrat, all the way down the ballot. And vote for Democrat MJ Hagar for U.S. Senate.
I'm MJ Hagar, candidate for Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by MJ for Texas.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM. The legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. Two radio stations in one.
All right, y'all. Back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. Got Willy Gibson with me, a broadcast journalist from Columbus, Ohio. Covers the Buckeyes, covers the Big Ten, covers the Cleveland Browns. He's sitting in with me on Winning Wednesday. David Grubb, unfortunately, had to tap out for the day. Please keep the area, the Gulf Coast area, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, even in Georgia, in your prayers because of the current hurricane heading that way again. So please keep them in your prayers. They're trying to get ready and school's letting out early. Also, good brother on the phone line with us, Keith, big Longhorn fan, talking a little bit about what they truly have in Tom Herman. Keith, one of your fellow Longhorn fans, Keith Hennick, said Tom Herman, all steak, no sizzle.
That's a great analogy, actually.
Yeah.
It really is. Because I'm going to tell you the thing that frustrates me the most, man, is that every single Monday media day that he has, and then every post game, or just about every post game, he talks about, all these hyperboles about how great we did, but more importantly, given the fact that we didn't have a pregame or a preseason practice and COVID and coaching changes, and I'm listening to him like, man, if this is the culture that you're creating, that your players here, this is why they go out and play like that.
Yep. Yep.
You take a look at Nick Saban, man, and I'll leave with it this. Nick Saban has lost more assistant coaches than any other coach in college football. Yet he continues to beat those coaches because he has a culture, as Willie said, he has a culture that we don't care who comes in as the coach. These are the standards. And I just feel bad for Texas right now in the sense that we have a program that's completely, I feel like, that's completely out of touch with reality when it comes to looking at a championship.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, man, because you guys got a great program that could really do some stuff. I really think that you guys were headed in the right direction, even post Charlie Strong. But when I look at Mike Gundy, and I can't stand him for breathing, I mean, he ain't making excuses. When I look at the head coach at Iowa State, he ain't making excuses. Watch this. When I look at the head coach at TCU and K-State, they're not making excuses. So I'm not understanding why, the biggest program in the Big 12 has a guy going over there and sounding as much as he can like Bill O'Brien. Got to coach better, got to play better. We had all these issues. We'll step it up, need to step it up. It's like, dude, this is UT. This ain't U of H.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And it's really frustrating. I'm hoping that we were able to beat Oklahoma State this weekend, but I'll be honest, at this point, the sad reality is no matter what happens this season, the way I feel about everything is transpired, it'll be hard to buy him out. So we'll have to bring him back next season.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I had a colleague share that with me the other day after listening to the show that his buyout is significant, and they don't see UT trying to make that happen. So, what you see is what you get, unfortunately.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey guys, as always, man, it's good to talk to you, bro, and y'all have a good day.
Keith, again, congratulations to you, man, and thanks for the call as always.
Yes, sir.
All right. Again, Keith, good call. Always love it because that brother is as deep as they come. I love those intellectual conversations. So, but man, I mean, literally, seriously, I don't understand how anybody can go to Texas and complain. I mean, work might be hard. I mean, nobody had a harder assignment than Charlie Strong because he's cleaning it up and trying to win. So, one of the first things your boy went down there and said, Tom Herman went down there and said was, you can't be whining and complaining. And then, he started saying, oh, when I get my guys, and Urban Meyer had to call him and say, do they have Texas on the front of their jersey? Then they're all your guys. So, it's easy to step on the neck of the person that was there before you. It's hard to do the work after that.
Oh, without question. I mean, like I said, I don't know if he actually was prepared. I mean, Houston's group of 5? They're a group of 5, AAC. So, I mean, that's one level of involvement. And then you take it to the next level. You take the biggest school in a Power 5 conference. Again, I don't fault him for you got to take the jump. You got to make the leap.
Oh, yeah, I don't fault him.
Yeah. I don't know he was ready for it. And I think now you're beginning to see, man. And like I said, I don't know the buyout. I haven't looked at his deal but I'm sure him being the head coach at Texas is exorbitant. But, the big money boosters they got in Texas, I'm sure they'll take care of that.
And when you were saying it, when you were pulling it out, I'm thinking to myself, Texas has one of the biggest dowries in college sports.
Sure.
I think if they wanted to buy him out, they could. And it might be one of the larger buyouts that they've had to eat. But if they really wanted to get rid of him, they could. But hey, they're going to give him another year. So we'll see. I think they're going to lose this week. They got Oklahoma State, and I think they got to go to Oklahoma State. Let me make sure here. UT at OK State. So we'll see.
Wow.
Tom Herman. All right, so we hadn't even gotten to the breaking news up in the Big Ten. What did we find out there today?
Yeah, University of Wisconsin football program has shut down for at least 7 days after 12 positive COVID-19 tests. 6 players, 6 staff, including head coach Paul Chryst. And that game Saturday versus Nebraska has been canceled, will not be rescheduled.
Yeah, in fact, I looked at that. I'm like, so they're going to replay it when? And it said they are actually canceling the game, and Wisconsin is forfeiting the win, to Nebraska. And wow.
Yeah, and had they played, even prior to that, they were down to their fourth string quarterback because their starting quarterback went into the season is out with injury. The quarterback Mertz that played against Illinois, he tested positive, and then his backup, which was actually the third string quarterback, tested positive as well. So they would have been going in that game with their fourth string quarterback, but the test came back positive. They have a total of 12 so far, and program is shut down for at least 7 days, and they'll revisit it again next Wednesday.
Yeah. Again, at the beginning of the year, myself, Todd, several people, Keith Hennick, we're all talking about, man, why are y'all doing this? Why are you all doing this? I know it's not the same conference. I know it's not the same level, but Bethune-Cookman had an outbreak of positive COVID-19 tests, and they've decided to shut down all sports until after the spring of 2021, everything. And that's basketball, that's baseball, that's track, that's football. Obviously, they were already doing that with football. We talked about it, and folks called in, oh, you guys are whining, and what are they going to do? And listen, if I don't know anything right now, don't mess with this country's football. Don't mess with this country's baseball. They don't really like basketball because you know who's running that. But don't let these folks do what they want to do. So I as we said early on about the Texan player, I'm praying for the kids. I'm praying for those quarterbacks. I'm praying for those running back backups, this, that, and the other. I don't care where they are on the depth chart. My concern is for their health and their safety up there in Wisconsin. And man, it's just life comes at you real fast.
Oh, without question. And then now also contact tracing Illinois. Let's look at their team. They played last Friday. So, hopefully, those tests continue to come back negative because they're tested every day. And hopefully those tests continue to come back negative for the Illini.
Yeah, and I'm personally connected to the Illinois Fighting Illini through my one of the best interns I've ever had in my life, Ashton Washington, who became the first woman to join the football staff at Illinois, and the first African American woman to join the football staff in the Big Ten. And man, I pray for those kids as well, man. I know Lovie Smith's heart. I know he's gonna do the right thing. I know Ashton, if she's got his ear at all, she's gonna make sure he does the right thing. So that's just how it goes, man. I don't know if you were on the show. I told the story about how use an example of how this thing could. One of my best friends has COVID-19. She got it because she went and visited her family, and her sister had it because a little girl came to school and had it. And when they asked the mother about why'd you send the child to school sick, she said, first of all, I can't afford to keep my child home every day. Second of all, I sent her with a mask and gloves and blah, 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 PPE. So because that parent made that decision, now the teacher got it. She gave it to her husband, and they gave it to their sister-in-law. And guess what? Her husband is a truck driver. Guess where he's been?
On the road.
All over the country.
Wow.
It is so much bigger than just sitting there saying, I want football, or schools should be open, or you got to open up the economy. It's so much bigger than that. If it was only that simple, but it's so much bigger than that. And hey, everybody applauded the SEC. They jumped out there first. They trusted this and they trusted that, and they're not going to be bound by fear. Florida and Georgia. LSU had at one time, over 30 cases of COVID-19.
Yep.
I'm not going
the club.
I'm not going to belabor the point. All I'm going to say is, man, this thing is bigger than just want to or feel like you should.
Yeah, the LSU players, there was an outbreak at a nightclub in Baton Rouge that the players frequented. And they brought it back to the team, and I think it was 34 at one point. And then it spread throughout the rest of the squad.
So with that, and again, that does kind of shift the balance of power in the Big Ten with Wisconsin taking that loss. Nebraska Scott Frost, you can count that one, bro. You got one. How does that affect their possibility of getting into this mythical college football playoff championship?
Well, that remains to be seen because it does shift the power in the Big Ten West because Wisconsin was the odds-on favorite out west in the Big Ten to meet Ohio State and Indianapolis for the Big Ten championship. But that remains to be seen. Now, there's discussions, depending on how long Wisconsin is out. Do they look at winning percentage versus actual games? Do they look at common opponents versus actual number of games to determine who wins it remains to be seen. Discussions are still ongoing.
And Willy Gibson joining us, broadcast journalist from Columbus, Ohio, covers the Big Ten and Cleveland Browns. Willie, I'm not being nitpicky. Shouldn't they have discussed these scenarios before they started? I mean, and even the Big Ten, who started after everybody else, shouldn't they have had these kind of scenarios already kind of predetermined before they jumped off on the 24th, 23rd?
Well, here's the thing. Yes and no. They should have, but again, the presidents never really wanted to play.
Right.
The presidents, they have these protocols in place because they said, okay, coaches, you want to play? Okay, we're going to play. But if this happens, these are the protocols. Players have to sit out 21 days, period. So those 12 players at Wisconsin, we know 2 of them are quarterbacks, 21 days. They're out. And they have to go through medical screening, heart screenings, things of that nature, testing additional before they are allowed to return to the facility. So they weren't necessarily looking for, okay, if we have an outbreak on a team and the team, how do we determine winning percentage? How do we determine representation in the Big Ten championship game? They were looking at, we really don't want to play, but kind of like your mother, like, okay, you really shouldn't be doing this. I know what's best, but okay, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. And these are the consequences that they have to deal with.
Yeah, and I guess similar to we talked about other people in other areas, other businesses, the presidents shouldn't be worried about the details of whether we're going to do winning percentages or if somebody has to cancel a game, or how we're going to determine where they rank. And that's athletic director, that's head coach, that's those guys on that level. The CEO says you can do it, go make it happen, and you go out and build 5G. He ain't out there with a hat and some fiber pliers, stripping fiber trying to run 5G. To me, athletic directors, coaches, the people that do that kind of stuff. Scott Frost, I ain't knocking him right now. I'm just saying those are the kind of things you would think he and his athletic director would want to get consensus from the other athletic directors and head coaches, come to an agreement, and that's how the Big Ten is going to run their business.
Well, yeah, they should, but again, they never thought they would face this scenario. As unlikely as it may have been, their whole process was, we started than everybody else. We're going to make it through unscathed. That was the thought process. And now that they've been scathed, so to speak, now it's reactionary. What do we do?
I got you. It's, man, again, I feel bad for the kids. There's this assumption that kids are going to be just fine. It's much like the flu or a cold, and you'll just shake it off. But it's those long-term unknown effects. I say right now, I still believe Cam Newton is dealing with some type of effects from COVID-19. I mean, not everybody's the same, but Rudy Gobert was months later, still couldn't smell, still couldn't taste. Mm-hmm. And, while that seems like a little thing, you're out there bumping and grinding up and down the court all day long. You're swallowing and you can't smell, you can't taste. It's little things like that in a finely tuned athlete that can throw them off from being that finely tuned athlete.
Oh, I'm sure. He not only dealt with the virus, missing that time. It's going to take time to get back in the swing of things. So it remains to be seen.
Yeah. So again, that's the big deal there. And then last night, I got to take this break now, but we'll talk about 2020 struck again last night, man. I mean, just one of the most unthinkable things that you would think would happened last night. We'll talk about it next, right here on the lunch break on the Legendary KYOK. Don't forget, the 30th is the last day to early vote here in the state of Texas. The 30th is the last day to get out and vote here in the state of Texas. Find a polling precinct near you. You can vote there. If you got one near your job, you can vote there. The Toyota Center, NRG Stadium, and I forget there's one other big place. Forgive me for not knowing it, but they are all open for voting. They're so big, you're going to social distance. You'll be able to get in, get out, but get out and vote before the 30th. Amen? All right, we'll talk to you right after this on the lunch break on the Legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
Congresswoman Lizzie Fletcher is standing with us for affordable health care, for public education, for making sure every vote is counted. It's why Mayor Turner and President Obama support Lizzie Fletcher for Congress. Wesley Hunt stands with Donald Trump. Wesley Hunt wants to repeal Obamacare and deny insurance to people with pre-existing conditions. Vote Lizzie Fletcher for Congress.
I'm Lizzie Fletcher, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Elizabeth Panel Fletcher for Congress.
This is Barack Obama, and I want to talk with you about the choice you have for your next U.S. Senator. I hope you'll vote for MJ Hager. MJ served 3 tours in Afghanistan as a combat search and rescue pilot, receiving a Purple Heart and Distinguished Flying Cross with Valor. She's also a working mom who knows the struggles families face to afford health care, which is why she'll fight to protect the Affordable Care Act. Progress we all worked so hard to achieve, and Republicans keep trying to repeal. And MJ is firmly committed to making the reforms we need to address systemic racism and create a more fair and equitable America. And that's why, whether you vote early or on November 3rd, I hope you'll join me in supporting Democrat MJ Hager. We need her in the United States Senate, but she needs your vote to get there.
I'm MJ Hagar, and I approve this message.
Use of military record does not imply endorsement from Department of Defense. Paid for by MJ for Texas.
My name is Gary Bledsoe, president of the Texas NAACP. The upcoming election is one of the most important elections in the history of this nation. Elections have consequences, and after the death of the legendary Ruth Bader Ginsburg, things that have been done by the courts to grant rights to racial, ethnic, religious, and other minorities are seriously at risk. The chances for the survival of Obamacare and affirmative action seem to be remote at best. Do you want an administration and court system that takes the side of bad cops and that works feverishly to make sure your right to vote is compromised? This election is about whether you have a right at first-class citizenship and humanity. The voter suppression efforts now existing in Texas are a clear reminder of years past. They are reducing polling places, drop boxes for absentee ballots, permitting abusive poll watching, and a host of other activities. Vote in honor of your ancestors, and please report any irregularities to the NAACP.
Paid for by the Communications Workers of America, District 6, Claude Cummings Jr., Vice President.
You're listening to 1140 AM and 92.3 FM, the Legendary KYOK.
Now, back to the lunch break.
All right, y'all, back here on it, on the Legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Winning Wednesday, and I will announce the winner of the Lunch Break Weekly, Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge that we do every week here on the show. I love that name. I think that's beautiful. PR and marketing people love me around the world. Go for it, AJ. Put another name in there. I should put my name in there. That'll finish it off right.
Oh, without question.
Say what?
Oh, without question, you should put your name in there. Brandy. Tyler Perry's Medea's Family Reunion, AJ Jones. Put it in there.
Man, don't play with me, bro, because you just put some life on that. Did you put me in there with TP? Bro.
Just Cash App is, you know what it is. Just keep it moving. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Karen Gibson just dropped it, man. Karen Gibson just dropped 24-hour polling locations where you can vote overnight, October the 29th. NRG, the Kashmir Multi-Purpose Center. Man, she just dropped it. Everything's right there. If you're in the greater Houston area, go to my page and you'll see all the places that Karen Gibson just dropped where you can go and vote at the 24-hour locations. There's still drive-up locations where you don't have to get out your car. and there's still locations where you can walk in safely, social distance, get the little finger thing, point your deal, and get it in. If you're mailing in your ballots, they got to be received by November the 3rd. They got to be received by next Tuesday. No exceptions. No exceptions. Not postmarked by, received by. All right. So please don't let your vote go uncounted. Please make sure you do everything to vote. All right, Willie.
Yes, sir.
Last night, Dodgers down 1-0, and they start their comeback. Mookie Betts does his thing. Nice double. He scores. He didn't score until he gets back up and hits a home run. No, I'm right. He scored in that inning, and then he hits his home run. And now he's 2 for 4 on the day. He drove in a run and scored 2 runs. So the Dodgers win 3-1. They're out celebrating, and we start noticing that Justin Turner, the redhead guy with the beard and everything like that, had been pulled out of the game around the 8th inning. Didn't see him anymore. Nobody reported any injuries or anything like that. We find out that he had tested positive for COVID-19, and they pulled him out of the starting lineup and got him isolated in quarantine. Was told to remain quarantined, and then we see him and his wife out masked up, holding hands, hugging, and leaning in and taking pictures with the team after the game. We see him holding the World Series trophy. And then we see him and Clayton Kershaw in a Broham hug, and we love you, and all that kind of stuff. Come on, man. It's not, I think I might have COVID. It's not, I've been exposed to somebody with COVID. You got pulled out because you had a positive test for COVID-19, and I get it. It is the biggest moment in your professional career. I get it. But where is I don't want to ruin it for anybody else.
It wasn't there, clearly. I mean, selfish. I mean, I've heard it all. Well, he's a free agent, and there's no guarantee what's going to happen after this. And I understand all that. There's no way in the world. And they said, well, we told him to quarantine, but we couldn't stop him. Well, how much effort was put into stopping him that he was able to go back from wherever he was quarantined, the clubhouse, I don't know where, but to make it to the dugout and then to the field? Dave Roberts knew because he pulled him out of the game. And you sat next to him, Dave Roberts, a cancer survivor, unmasked.
Right.
There's no justification that I can give, that anyone should be able to attempt to give you, but certainly there's no justification I'm going to attempt to give you for that. None.
Because again, we don't know who all he came in contact with after he and his wife came back out. And guess what? She potentially becomes a spreader. He is a spreader. And now everyone that you contacted potentially becomes a spreader. And guess what? They're going home. They're leaving the bubble. They're going out to celebrate with their friends and their families. And guess what?
I mean, I even heard that. Well, it's after the fact because he's already been around them, so they've already potentially been exposed. And there's no justification. None.
My grandmother used to say, common sense ain't so common.
It's not.
That's what she said. Little lady from Darrow, Louisiana, used to say, common sense ain't so common. My grandfather, married to my grandmother for 72 years, would used to tell me, you got book sense, but you ain't got no common sense. Willie ain't gonna touch that one.
No, I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing I can add to that. There's no justification for that.
And I'm not trying to be the guy that's the party pooper of every single thing, but this is not a common cold. This is something that, to some degree, watch this, to some degree is controllable if we just do the right thing. I mean, how hard would it be to release a video statement from the locker room or wherever you've been quarantined to say, hey, man, I would love to be out there, and I am over the moon, and I love you guys so much, man. We did it, and just scream at the top of your lungs, anything is possible. You can do that.
Oh, he tweeted. He tweeted after the fact. Thank you for everybody who reached out. Like, come on, man.
I'm just gonna go ahead and drink it, bro. I'm gonna get me a swig.
Wow, let me know that works out for you.
I'm just gonna get me a swig and congratulations to the Dodgers on winning their 7th World Series championship, their first since 1988. And, let's get back to the sports side of it. The Dodgers have been to 3 out of the last 4 World Series championships or final World Series, bottom line. Where do they rank as far as good teams? Where do they rank as far as, of our era? Where do they rank as far as, I don't want to use the word dynasty, but let's talk good teams.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely a good team. And I mean, we talked about it with Tom Herman. It's culture. It's the culture of that organization. It starts there, and they clearly have a good one. And, Mark Walter, Magic Johnson, part of that ownership group, Stan Kasten, those guys. Then you go to Andrew Friedman, president of baseball operations, who pulled the coup of the year off for not only trading for Mookie Betts, but to sign him to a long-term deal. I mean, culture.
Yeah.
So they got to be up there.
Yeah.
They have to be up there.
One of my colleagues tweeted out, I wonder how Boston are feeling after that Mookie Betts hit. And I said, they sick, bro. Trust me. They're sick.
Yep.
Yeah. Magic Johnson, when he got in on that ownership group, like they literally instantly turned that organization around. Now, they spent a ton of money to turn it around. Their payroll was out of this world. But you saw almost an immediate impact in that Dodgers team once that ownership group, including Magic, and they literally let Magic become the face of the organization. What do you think about the importance of that?
Oh, it's crucial. It's crucial. I mean, Magic. I mean, some people just, we always say they have it, and what is that proverbial it? They just have that magnetic personality, that business acumen. I mean, he's the total package. So, anybody in the last 35 years, sports-wise, especially in the city of Los Angeles, you mentioned Magic Johnson, and Magic Johnson is part of something that you're building. That's going to automatically draw them in. So I think that was a no-brainer, a phenomenal decision by Mark Walter to put him as the face, as the front man, so to speak. And you saw the fruits of the labor pay off last night.
Yeah. All right, so one of the things I was going to do today, if David had been able to make it, was kind of, throw some little trivia at you guys. Not so much trivia, but kind of throw some questions at y'all where y'all can kind of think about it and spur a little conversation. Obviously, the LA is calling itself Title Town right about now after winning the NBA championship and the Major League Baseball World Series. And a lot of folks think that the Rams have a legitimate shot to win, a Super Bowl. But I wanted to be a little deeper than, who are your favorite title towns per se. When you look at what Magic winning championship, oh man, you got to hold her up or him up. Let us see the dog, man.
No, man. This UPS man just stopped at the door, so we good.
And it's Bailey, right?
It is Bailey.
Bailey wanted to get on the show.
He don't play that. He don't. Somebody come to the house, bro. He don't play that.
Bailey is about as big as your foot. What is Bailey not playing? Bailey ain't running nothing.
Anybody that try to step in the house, you'll see. Step in the house, you'll see.
You didn't hear my rant about big dogs versus little dogs, did you?
I did. But step in the house, you'll see.
Okay. So you got a little dog. You got a big dog and a little dog body.
No. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Okay. All right.
That's
Okay.
it.
I got you. Hey, man. Well, I gotta do Sybil Wilkes, but when I come back,
Please.
talk about guys who won championships or were a part of championships in multiple sports, whether it be as a player and an owner, whether it be as a player and a front office person. That's the one that kind of interests me, because there's a couple of people that come to mind, but I want to see what you can come up with as well. We'll talk about guys who have won or been a part of multiple championships across different sports when we come back with Willy Gibson joining us here on Winning Wednesday on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. Here's Sybil Wilkes with her COVID-19 update.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know today.
You got three?
Is underway
Yeah,
following the killing of a black man on the street of a West
We're good.
neighborhood Monday afternoon and protests that followed that night. Video of the incident shows the victim, 27-year-old Walter Wallace Jr., holding a knife when two police officers shot him several times. For the third time since the year 2000, voters in Alabama have the chance to remove racist language from the state's 119-year-old constitution. The bipartisan legislation called Amendment 4 would do away with language that bans mixed-race marriages, allows poll taxes, and mandates school segregation. As coronavirus cases hit record highs in the last few days, deaths are also on the rise again. Health experts say that what the U.S. is experiencing is the result of pandemic fatigue, pandemic disbelief, and colder weather, which is forcing more people indoors where virus spread is more likely. Please visit SybilWilkes.com to subscribe to my free daily newsletter. Be informed, be empowered.
Beautiful people, this is Major. This is why I love you on the lunch break.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones, about to hit the top of the hour. I got Willy Gibson, broadcast journalist from Columbus, Ohio. Covers the Big Ten, Cleveland Browns, and just real knowledgeable when it comes to sports, and I'm sure a whole lot of other things. David Grubb couldn't make it today. Keep everyone in that Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, even Georgia area in your prayers because of the hurricane heading in that direction. Willie, so right before the break, man, right before the top of the hour, I was talking about guys who have been a part of multiple championships. Obviously, Magic Johnson did it with the Lakers and is a part of a championship with the LA Dodgers. Who else comes to mind for you that could be in that discussion?
Sparks as well for Magic. He's a majority owner at LA Sparks as well. So that's three. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. That puts Magic in rare air.
Absolutely. I don't know multiple sports who won. I mean, I can think of multiple players who played multiple sports at the championship level. Deion Sanders is the first one that comes to mind. He played in the Super Bowl and the World Series, but he did not win the World Series with the Braves. We won the Super Bowl with Dallas and San Francisco, but not the World Series with the Braves. As far as multiple sport athletes, that's the only one that immediately jumps off the page. But I mean, you may have others that you researched.
Actually, the name that came to mind. The former head coach of Washington, who won a couple of Super Bowl championships, and Joe Gibbs, and then jumped over, and his racing team won championships there. And didn't Gretzky, of course, win championships in hockey? But wasn't he a part owner of? Was it the football team in Arizona when they went to the Super Bowl? They didn't win it, obviously. Pittsburgh did, but wasn't Gretzky a part owner in that?
I have not heard that.
Okay, now I do know that Gretzky was a part owner of one of the horses that won one of the big three races. Him and the guy Babin.
Bob Baffert.
Yeah, Baffert. Yeah, he was a part owner of that. So again, Gretzky kind of falls in that. But I didn't know if there were others that you knew of that have been champions in multiple different sports, whether it was as a player or front office person or owner. But Joe Gibbs was really the one that I knew about.
Right. Yeah, I don't know of the winners. Again, like I said, Deion played in the championship level in two separate sports. But
hold on before
11:30 a.m. KYOK Conroe and 92.3 FM K222CX Houston.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the host, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones, and it is our Winning Wednesday. And I got Willy Gibson joining me here on this day, sitting in with us. David Grubb normally here. He is not able to be here today. Y'all, please, again, keep the Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. I think there's some other areas up the way that are in line of that storm, because it's supposedly going to hook and go straight up towards the northeast. So there might be some areas that not normally affected by those kind of storms that might get some. So I know New Orleans, who has missed the last couple of storms, is right in the line of the storm. And I got a lot of family and friends in that area. So please, y'all, be careful. Please be careful. Let me see. Big Time Floyd says, hello, AJ, Willie, and the Breakers. The Tampa Rays need to fire Kevin Cash for the stupid decision in pulling out Blake Snell after allowing only 2 hits and striking out 9 with a one-run lead. Analytics is ruining the game of baseball. Did he have any money bets on the Dodgers winning the World Series? Very questionable coaching by Cash. Hey, man, as a longtime fan of the Cincinnati Reds, the Big Red Machine, a longtime fan of Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose, bro, that one hits way too close to home. I don't believe anything whatsoever that Cash had any kind of bets involved in that. Call me whatever you want to call me, but that one hits close to home for me. Pete Rose should be, everything about him should be in the Hall of Fame, not just his stats and his records, but Pete Rose, his bust, put an asterisk by it, write a little story, but put that dude in the Hall of Fame. But I don't think that had anything to do with Cash last night.
Cash, huh? Cash.
Yeah.
Cash. No,
Yeah.
I'm picking.
Yeah, I see what you're trying to do, but no,
I'm picking. No, but seriously, I mean, in his defense, I know I said my personal view earlier, but Blake Snell has only gone past 5 innings twice all season. So that's what they do. It got him to Game 6 of the World Series. So I can dislike it all day long. However, it's proven that it's worked for him not only this year, but years previous.
Right,
so much as I don't like it, I mean, I think it was past the 5th inning, Blake Snell's ERA was like 7.43, something astronomical like that. So, I mean, he's the manager of the Tampa Bay Rays, American League champion Tampa Bay Rays, for a reason. I may not like it, but it just didn't. We can question his reliever choice, perhaps. Anderson gave up a run in 6 straight playoff games, so maybe that can be under the microscope. But Blake Snell, he knows.
Yeah, and that's my thing. If it was abnormal, if it was just like, wow, that just, he's never done that before, that's one thing. But this is what this guy has done. This is what they brought him in and said, hey, do you? And it has worked. It has worked. So it's unfortunate. I mean, again, I can imagine how a pitcher will feel, and you feel like you're grooving. Yeah, you got 2 folks on, but you were dealing, man. That cat was dealing. Like, struck Mookie out twice. Was dealing, but
So
I don't like this. Huh?
I'm sorry. Let me play. Flip of the coin. Let's say he leaves Snell in, and Snell gives up that double to Mookie Betts. Then what? What are we saying about Kevin Cash at that point?
Right. It left him in there too long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, man, some of those hitters, they want that guy that's dealing. They can't wait to get him out. They just like, okay, now, because what they had started to do, and the announcer said it best. He said with the way Snell is dealing right now, they got to swing at that first pitch. They can't let him get deep in the count and try and figure out what he's going to do because his curveball and his fastball had almost the same kind of delivery point. And, so you're thinking like, gosh, this is the fastball, and then it's the curveball, and you're way ahead of it. Or the fastball, you're thinking it's the curve, and you're miles behind it. So he was rolling in that sense. But like you said, if he had given up that run, that double to Mookie, then the whole story would be the same, just different.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, like I said, he's in Game 6 of the World Series for a reason. Blake Snell said, I think it was twice. He's going to be on 5 innings all year, and again, in a shortened season. So we don't know, and that respect, physical is his physical condition. We don't know, but he's done that all year long. So I'm not going to blast him too much for that decision.
I hear you. Keith, I wish you could call because I like having that discussion. Keith Hennig, caller of the year 2020, says that I respectfully disagree on Pete Rose. No respect for cheaters. And you know me, I've been railing on the Astros, not because I don't like the Astros, but they cheated to win a World Series. And all this, but everybody's cheating. That's a dumb excuse. The thing I'll say, one of the reasons why I believe that Pete Rose should be in was because his stats spoke for themselves. You can't erase what he accomplished on the field because of what he did as a manager. You just can't take that. And there's no way in the world that Major League Baseball can have a valid Hall of Fame when your number one hit leader is not in the Hall of Fame. Yes, you have his stats there and what have you, but it would be so much more valid to have the player in and to control the narrative on he's in, but he was disbarred from baseball, suspended for baseball for life for doing X, Y, Z. That's capturing all of history, not trying to wash away part of it and cover the other part of it. So that's my reason behind it.
There's a couple things with Pete.
Okay. Hold, let me get him in with us. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. This is AJ. Who's this?
This is Keith Hennig.
Great, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for jumping in. Did you hear my most recent commentary, Keith?
I did.
Okay. And again, I promise you, I'm not arguing, fighting with you, what have you. Willie was about to share something real quick, so let's let him get in, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah, okay. A couple things with Pete. For years, all I heard was there's the cardinal sin in baseball. You don't bet on baseball. There's a huge sign in every locker room that you go in. You don't bet on baseball. And I believed it until about 14 years ago. I was in Seattle and I took a tour at Safeco Field. And they took us to the locker room, to the clubhouse. And I'm like, man, I finally get to see this sign that everyone tells me. It's big sign. Don't bet on baseball. And you know what I saw? An 8.5 by 11 page, a piece of paper taped to a wall with one of the rules saying you don't bet on baseball. So that right there, the narrative kind of changed for me there. 1, 2, okay, as you said, what he's accused of doing, or what he admitted to doing, he did as a manager, not as a player. His playing career speaks for itself. Right. So, as you said, you want to put it, you have to. 42-56, he's a hit king. You got to put him in for his on the field performance. If you want to mention the fact that as a manager he did these things, sure. And then lastly, Bart Giamatti, when the negotiation for his suspension was ongoing, Bart Giamatti announced it as, okay, it's a lifetime ban, but Pete, you're going to be able to apply for reinstatement after 1 year. Unfortunately, Mr. Giamatti passed away within that year, and his predecessor or his replacement, Faye Vincent, didn't honor that negotiation. So, all that being said, I know I'm an Ohio guy, Charlie Hustle. What he did on the field speaks for itself. You got to let him in for his on-field performance.
Keith, go ahead.
Well, that was well said, Willie. I just have issues with criminals. O.J. Simpson was a tremendous NFL football player. He was enshrined in the Hall of Fame, and once he was committed of an alleged crime, his bust was removed. Lance Armstrong is another one who just simply broke the rules, and in my mind, he is worthless. And the same with Charlie Hustle. He was amazing on the field. He was incredible as a player. However, cheating is cheating, and criminal activity is criminal activity, and he's guilty, and he admits his guilt. So, as a punishment, he doesn't deserve any more than what he's doing, signing baseballs in Las Vegas, in my mind.
And Keith, that's fair. That's fair. And I don't want to lose my all my credibility, but even with the O.J. Simpson thing, he was exonerated in court of the crime. Now, he lost a civil judgment, but he was never convicted criminally of that crime, and the crime that he was convicted of had nothing to do with the crime that he was charged with of double murder. So again, it almost becomes. Say it again, Keith.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, it's like they took back Reggie Bush's Heisman Trophy, but there are other guys who got to keep their Heisman trophies, the cars, the money, the jewelry. Their families got to keep the houses and all the other benefits that they got. And again, I'm just kind of throwing it out there. If you've got a Hall of Fame that supposedly enshrines the best of your sports accomplishments and records, then you got to decide, is this a hall of honor because of personality, or is it a Hall of Fame for accomplishments in the sport? Because again, if you're telling me that Pete Rose, the hit leader for the sport, is not in the Hall of Fame, then I wonder what's really in your Hall of Fame.
Well, and that point is valid, but you guys are both Ohio guys.
And you're right.
Why do you think the bust was removed?
Say it again.
Why do you think O.J. Simpson's bust was removed from the Hall of Fame?
Because of Ohio State.
O.J. Simpson?
No, you said we were Ohio guys, and why do we think the bus was removed? I took a guess that it had something to do with Ohio State or being from Ohio.
Well, what my point was, since you are both Ohioans, do you agree that O.J. Simpson's removal, the bus? Let me start over in English.
No. I know where you're going now. No, I don't agree. I think O.J. Simpson bus should be in the Hall of Fame as well. And again, if you add a plaque that says, unfortunately, O.J. Simpson, disgraced himself, his family, the sport by blah, 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 convicted, charged with double murder, found innocent, but blah, 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 blah. You control that narrative, but just taking the bus away doesn't, remove O.J. Simpson's accomplishments as a player. Keith, stay right there. I got to get this break, but I want to come back to you because it's good discussion. We'll be right back with this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
Congresswoman Lizzie Fletcher is standing with us for affordable health care, for public education.
You got 3 on this one?
Every vote is counted. It's why Mayor Turner and President Obama support Lizzie Fletcher for Congress. Wesley Hunt stands with Donald Trump. Wesley Hunt wants to repeal Obamacare and deny insurance to people with pre-existing conditions. Vote Lizzie Fletcher for Congress.
I'm Lizzie Fletcher, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Elizabeth Panel Fletcher for Congress.
One day. This is Earl G. Robinson. When people say my vote doesn't matter, when you don't vote, your vote counts against you. The other side gets a vote. If you want to fix our broken criminal justice system and reform your local police department to make it more accountable, you need to vote. If you want to increase economic prosperity in the black community, you need to vote. If you want to protect the right to vote, you need to vote. If you want more funding for our schools, you need to vote. Voting does matter. If Black Lives Matter to you, you need to vote. Early voting begins on October 13th and ends on October 30th. Election day is November 3rd. You need to vote. We all need to vote. If you don't vote, it will matter.
Paid for by the Communications Workers of America, District 6, Claude Cummings Jr., Vice President.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
Hey, what's up? This your boy James Fortune, and you are listening to The Lunch Break. Keep it locked.
All right, y'all. We're locked in on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. Got Willy Gibson joining us here on Winning Wednesday. Also joined by Caller of the Year 2020. It's Keith Hennick. And Keith, right before the break, sorry to have to cut you off. But I think OJ's bust should have stayed in the Hall of Fame as well.
Well, and I can't argue that. I can't. The perception was that he committed a crime of murder. He was never, ever convicted of that crime. And I think it was just a publicity stunt to remove his bust. He was an incredible athlete. I am talking about people that cheat in the game.
Yeah.
Lance Armstrong.
Yep. I agree.
Clemens. I could go on and on and on about people that cheat. Barry Bonds, is Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame?
He is not. He is not. Him, Roger, most of the folks from that steroid era are not. And again, I have my feelings about that, because I know Barry Bonds was Hall of Fame worthy before, he ever allegedly started any of that. Clemens kind of feel like the same way. And then if you keep them out for steroids, what do you do about the guys who use, cocaine, and the guys that use alcohol, and the guys that use other kind of things to kind of enhance in some way or another their ability? And last and certainly not least, wasn't Ty Cobb alleged to have killed or had somebody killed in his past?
Yes.
I'm old, AJ, but I don't go back that far with Ty Cobb.
Yeah, no, I'm just, I know it's, Ty Cobb is one of the worst guys personally that ever played the game, and I do know that's correct. There is alleged that he had a black man at that point at that killed in his past. So, I don't know, man. It gets real subjective.
Well, it's credibility. It's a situation of who you are as a man or a woman or any athlete of any sort. If you don't have the character to play the game legally the way it was designed, you cheat. And I just don't have any room in my heart for people that cheat.
Yeah.
If you can't win on your own, with your own skills, without enhancing, Mark McGuire's on the outside looking in, and he will always be that way. The PED era was horrible, and it cost people long-term the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose is guilty of cheating, and I respectfully disagree that he should be enshrined.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I'm looking back at it. In 1912, Ty Cobb was alleged to have said, "I killed a man in Detroit," and a lot of folks are trying to discredit it, disprove it. And a lot of folks are saying that it did happen, but yeah. So, I would you.
Question?
Go ahead.
Mr. Keith, I just want to ask one question, if I could. respectfully, what did Pete Rose do to cheat?
You said it yourself, Willie. Gambling is illegal in professional sports, and he gambled. Now, as a player, did he gamble? I don't know that. No one knows that. But as a manager, he was still very much a part of a team sport where there were rules and regulations handed down by Major League Baseball, and he broke them. If you break the rules, you're gone. That's it.
No, I understand. I was just curious because that's where I was going. The difference between cheating versus breaking a rule. I understand rules are broken, and I'm not defending, what Pete has admitted to doing. But I guess the rule says you can't gamble, and he gambled. Yes, you broke the rule. I'm just trying to equate the cheating piece to it. But I understand. But as a player, I still believe that as a player, which he hasn't been proven to have gambled as a player, his playing career is Hall of Fame worthy, and I think that should put him in.
Well, I agree. He was one of the most exciting players that I ever watched in my life. Charlie Hustle was the man until he wasn't. And it's very, very unfortunate because he had a tremendous career as a player, and he didn't mess up until he was in management. But, from childhood, I was taught you don't break the rules. You cheat, you lose, and you don't deserve to win.
Yeah. Yeah, Keith, I'm looking at this, the hit leaders for Major League Baseball, like Albert Pujols is the closest active player to catching Pete Rose. Pete Rose, 42-56. Albert Pujols, 32-36. And he ain't going to catch him.
Oh, no.
So, Miguel Cabrera, 28-66. I just, you got your best player in an area of your sport that you've got, you got the stats in, but you don't have him in. I feel like we're smart enough to find other ways to acknowledge what he did in one place and highlight and discourage what he did in another place.
Well, you've given me great food for thought there, AJ. I'll bring it back to Lance Armstrong. 6 championships, 6 Tour de France wins. Cheated the entire time.
Right. That's a little different. That's a little different for me.
Is it?
Yeah, it is, because if you cheated to be great and to do what you did in your sport, then we don't know if you would have done that had you not cheated. So I would be open to them, expunging his accomplishments from that sports Hall of Fame. If I found out that Michael Phelps used performance-enhancing drugs on every one of those gold medal races, to me, then you don't deserve those gold medal races. That's one of the many reasons why I love the sport of track, because they'll strip you of it and give it to somebody else.
You just brought up a point. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. That's what I'm saying. If you actually cheated in the sport to make the accomplishment, that's one thing. But if you as a manager versus a player, that's something totally different for me. Go ahead, Willie.
Well, no, you just brought up something that is enlightening. They expunged Lance Armstrong's name from the record book. Pete is still in the record book.
Yeah.
42-56 is still there.
Right.
His career is still there. He hasn't been expunged. So what are we talking about here, Frank?
And that's what I say. I mean, really, it's the fine line of, you got the records in there, put the bus in there, and start playing the splitting hairs is I guess what I'll call it.
Yeah, and splitting hairs is a very good description of that, because in some form or another, a lot of people cheat and don't get caught.
Right.
And they're very, very successful, and people don't know. But people that are caught and admit to cheating should be banned.
Yeah.
In my opinion. It has nothing to do with their accomplishments.
Right.
P. Rose was, again, one of the most exciting players I ever saw. But he made his bed, and he's got a lie in it.
Yeah, Keith, I hate to do it. We're up against the break, man. I'll talk to you again soon. Call it the year 2020.
All right, you guys take care.
All right, you too. We'll be right back with more on the lunch break on the Legendary KYOK.
Our First Lady, Michelle Obama.
If you
I'm not going to leave this time.
possibly
I'm
get
not
worse,
going to leave this time.
they can and they will if we don't.
I got scolded for leaving, so I'm not going to leave this time.
Add your voice. Vote for every Democrat. Start to
I know. I got scolded for leaving, so I'm not going to leave this time.
November 3rd.
We have to vote in numbers that cannot be ignored.
Paid for by the first Tuesday back. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Which means political ads are.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
There's a reason for that. This is important. We have a president who is a straight up racist, who uses racist language and attacks to divide Americans against each other. We don't just need a new president, we need leaders who aren't afraid to stand up to Trump. But our senator, Republican John Cornyn, he votes with Donald Trump more than 95% of the time. So what do we do about it? We vote for Democrat MJ Hagar. MJ is a combat veteran and as a working mom who knows healthcare costs are out of control, she'll fight for affordable healthcare, cheaper prescription drug prices, and protect people with pre-existing conditions. And she's endorsed by President Obama. But most importantly, she's got the courage to stand up to Donald Trump. So vote. Vote Democrat. All the way down the ballot. And vote for Democrat MJ Hagar for U.S. Senate.
I'm MJ Hagar, candidate for Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by MJ for Texas.
The Legendary KYOK 1140 AM. The Legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. 2 radio stations in one.
My name is Devon McDonald from Jamaica, play with Indianapolis Colts, and listen, you listen to the lunch break.
All right, we're back here on the lunch break on the Legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones along with Willy Gibson. Winning Wednesday, and Willy Gibson, broadcast journalist from Columbus, Ohio, covers the Buckeyes, Big Ten, and the Cleveland Browns. So before we get to the Cleveland Browns and this week's NFL matchups, let me get to announcing who wins this week's lunch break weekly, keeping up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge that we do every week on the show. All right, here we go. Honorable mentions. Got to give some love to Boston, Keith, Terry. Big shout out to my guy, Carl. They were all 8-6. They were all 8-6. Todd, 8-6. Keisha Kelly, 9-5. Trey was 9-5. Amber was 9-5. Let's see. DC was 9-5. What's up, bro? I didn't even know you got in this week. All right, and then we had some 10-4s. I was 10-4. T-Bone 10-4. Chi-Town 10-4. Alexis was 10-4 with her shy self. Milo was 10-4 as well. And then we had some 11-3s. Can you believe how many 11-3s we had? Big Mike was 11-3. DB Cook was 11-3. Jessica and Mark, husband and wife team, 11-3. So you know what happens now, right? We got to go to the tiebreaker. Or do we? No, we don't, because Ferdinand was 12-2. Ferdinand did it again for the third time this season. Ferdinand takes home the big prize. 12-2, beating out Big Time Floyd, Big Mike, and Jessica and Mark, as well as DB Cook. All of them were 11-3, but Ferdinand 12-2. But man, if he better be glad he better be glad he was by himself, because he picked the Bears to beat the Rams, and he had the final score of 28-14. Of course, the Rams won that one 24-10. So he wouldn't have been too far off in the final score. He just had the wrong team. So Ferdinand, check your PayPal account, not PayPal, Cash App account. Cash App account. We're going to shoot you over $50. Ferdinand. And speaking of, let me go ahead and give you the top 10 These are the top 10 trying to get in the top 6 for the $500 at the end of the season. Ferdinand is leading the way with 81 wins. Milo is number 2 with 76. Big Mike and Alexis are tied with 73. You got Chi-Town at 71. And then Mad Dog Merrick is at 70. They are the top 6. Keith Hennick just out of the top 6 by 2 wins. Amber and Keisha Kelly out by 3. And Trey is out by 5. So there you go. Somebody's got some work to make up. Got to get serious about your picks. But Ferdinand, 12-2. That ain't bad. That ain't bad at all. That ain't bad at all. George Griffin also was 10-4. Had to give him some love as well. So, man, bruh, interesting week.
Absolutely.
Interesting week. Man, Ferdinand is on a roll. I don't think we've ever had anybody win 3 times in the same season. I could be wrong, but I don't think we've ever.
And it's only mid-season. It's only mid-season. You still got a ways to go.
Man, let me tell you something. All joking aside, there, I hope he ain't listening. Ferdinand has had some years where, man, I didn't even get to mention Ferdinand's name in honorable mention, meaning he wasn't even over 500. You know, one week he'll be slamming, and then the next week he'll be 7-9. It's like, Ferdinand, what did you do? Oh man, I just had a tough week. But bruh, Ferdinand has been killing it lately. So congratulations, man. We'll be dropping $50 in your Cash App, and you can go on and run with that. All right, so let's look at this week's matchups. You ready for that, Willy Gibson?
Let's go.
NFL. All right, Thursday night's game. Atlanta, Carolina.
Yeah. Carolina. Teddy Bridgewater, Teddy B.
Teddy B played the Saints about as good as he could, and did everything but win it. And Carolina plays the Saints well. Period. That's again one of those matchups that you just can throw the records out. They just match up well, and even under Matt Rule, no big change off there. I expect Carolina to win that as well, but you got to figure that at some point Atlanta's going to break out, right?
Well, they broke out against Detroit a little bit, and then they scored. So
yeah,
But no,
with the he didn't cost them the loss.
Right.
Okay.
Right. It was a little tongue in cheek, but no. Atlanta, I think at this point, I mean, they've already fired the coach, they've already fired the GM. At this point, it's playing out the string. Raheem Morris won't be back. He won't be back as the head job, I don't believe. Now it's just about pride. Players are, what are you going to do? Like we talked about earlier. Earlier in the week. Some people play for Sunday, some people play for Monday. Now we're going to see who's playing for Monday. Yeah, we're going to see.
Yeah, a lot of folks responded well to what Garrett Jones said yesterday about that championship mentality. And man, I hate to see teams like Atlanta with all that talent. Man, they got a ton of talent. I was at that Super Bowl game when they were blowing the Patriots out. Man, their defense had New England on the ropes, 28-3. And then you make some subtle changes to keep that defense off the field. You run the ball, and you just kind of keep the clock moving, and you go home with your first Super Bowl championship. But no. Kyle Shanahan had a whole nother, and that defense stayed out there too long. New England did what they do well, make adjustments, and you look up and like, oh, we're in trouble.
Overtime.
Yeah. You don't ever want it to come down to that. So, all right, I'm with you on that. I got Carolina. They're a 2.5-point favorite in that one. All right, so then let's go to the Sunday matchups. Tennessee at Cincinnati.
Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee's going to bounce back with a vengeance, I think.
Without question.
Dunlap. Didn't Dunlap get traded?
Traded to Seattle.
Big move for Seattle. Big move
Very
for
much
Seattle.
So. They've been looking for D-line help all season. So they finally got it. It's funny. Dunlap put his house for sale. Put his house on Cincinnati on the market Sunday after the game.
Yeah.
After they lost to the Browns. He put his house on the market Sunday. So he knew.
Bro, there are some people that take pride in what they do. You know, that take pride in what they do. They don't want to just be perennial losers on their team.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And he's one of them. So now he goes from one of the worst situations in the league to one of, if not the best, in Seattle, and he's going to help that. He's going to help that defense tremendously.
What do you have to say about the head coach of Cincinnati?
Zach Taylor?
Yeah.
He benefited from Sean McVay. I mean, it's a copycat league. So when Sean McVay took the Rams to the Super Bowl, everybody wanted that young, hip, offensive mastermind. He was on that staff. I don't fault him. They came calling. He had to answer. So was he ready? Probably not. Will he get to year 3? Because of Cincinnati? Probably. Anywhere else? Probably not. But, it remains to be seen. He's a quarterback coach. He went from position coach to head coach.
Yeah.
Because it's a copycat league.
I'm ready to call that experiment not a success. Getting all the Sean McVay, he touched him. I touched Sean McVay like 4 years ago, so I need to be the head coach of your team, and folks are falling for that. All right, so I'm with you. I'm going to go with Tennessee on that one. Indianapolis at Detroit. Detroit has won, 3 in a row?
No, just 2.
2 in a row?
Just two.
It's hard. Well, they won 3 out of 4, which is surprising for Detroit. Do they do it again? Do they beat the Colts?
Is it an Indy? Or
It
is
is in, hold on, let me tell you. Hold on. Hip is on you. It's in Detroit.
I'm going to Indianapolis. Barely. But I'm going to Indianapolis.
Yeah. I'm going to Indianapolis for a bunch of reasons. Like just a bunch. Some of them,
I know.
Yeah. You don't think there was just a whole bunch of dudes in a room that did something to me, and I don't like none of them. But yeah, your boy is in there. Matt Patricia's in there. All right, New Orleans at Chicago, big game. New Orleans at Chicago, big game. Both of them 4-2. 5-2 for the Bears heading into that game.
I got to go New Orleans. Coming off Chicago, coming off this short week. Not just they're coming off a short week. I just think the team is that defense is bananas. Don't get me wrong, but I mean Nick Foles only plays well when he plays Tom Brady. So I said it.
All right, what did Nick do to you? What happened?
Nothing. It's just look. I mean, it's a fact. He didn't do anything. That's just true.
Yeah,
that's just true.
If I'm Chicago, I'm making a call to New England to get Cam Newton next year. Dallas at Philadelphia.
They had him this year. They had the opportunity to give him this year, but they guaranteed Nick Foles $21 million.
I know.
So.
I know.
Yeah. I'm sorry. What was the next game? I apologize.
Dallas at Philadelphia.
Man, stop it. All right. I got to pick this too. Dallas wins. They're in first place in the NFC East at 3-5 at the midway point. I don't know who's playing quarterback in Dallas, so no, I got to go Philly.
Philly. Who's playing quarterback? You know who's playing quarterback.
Andy might get it clear from protocol. Andy might get cleared on the protocol.
It is big. Wait, it's Little Ben's team, baby. It's Little Ben's team. America's team is run by Little Ben.
Yeah, Philly. And yeah. Next, what's the next one? I don't want to linger there.
I'm going Philly. You got Dallas. I'm going Philly.
And this Sunday night. No, I don't have Dallas. I got Philly. I picked Philly.
Oh, you got Philly? Okay. All right. Yeah. The game of the week: Pittsburgh at Baltimore.
Man.
6-0 versus 5-1.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to go Pittsburgh. I'm going to go Pittsburgh.
Baltimore at home, man, it's hard for me to give up. Baltimore at home is hard for me to give up. They're coming off the bye week, right?
Yes.
I'm going Baltimore.
Okay.
I'm going Baltimore. Harbaugh with extra time. Now that Lamar Jackson was slightly nicked up going into that last game or coming out of that last game. I'm going to believe he's better. I'm going with Baltimore in that one. And I love Pittsburgh. You know that. New England at Buffalo. New England at Buffalo. 3.5-point favorites.
Cam bounces back. New England.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Buffalo. I think some people might have gotten into Josh Allen's head. I think Josh might have another tough outing. I really do.
I think what it is, it's the league. I mean, most weeks when teams prepare, they go back and view film for the last 4 games.
Right.
Well, the first 4 games that had no film.
Right.
So the first 4 games he played lights out. But since then, they got film on him. They made adjustments. That's it.
Yep, you got all kinds of trends and tips and tales. Let's hit a quick break. We'll come back with Willy Gibson and counting down this NFL weekend. We'll be right back.
This is Barack Obama, and I want to talk with you about the choice you have of the next U.S. Senator. I hope you'll vote for MJ. MJ served 3 tours in Afghanistan as a combat search and rescue pilot, receiving a Purple Heart and Distinguished Flying Cross with Valor. She's also a working mom who knows the struggles families face to afford health care, which is why she'll fight to protect the Affordable Care Act. Progress we all worked so hard to achieve, and Republicans keep trying to repeal. And MJ is firmly committed to making the reforms we need to address systemic racism and create a more fair and equitable America. And that's why, whether you vote early or on November 3rd, I hope you'll join me in supporting Democrat MJ Hager. We need her in the United States Senate, but she needs your vote to get there.
I'm MJ Hagar, and I approve this message.
Use of military record does not imply endorsement from Department of Defense. Paid for by MJ for Texas.
My name is Gary Bledsoe, president of the Texas NAACP. The upcoming election is one of the most important elections in the history of this nation. Elections have consequences, and after the death of the legendary Ruth Bader Ginsburg, things that have been done by the courts to grant rights to racial, ethnic, religious, and other minorities are seriously at risk. The chances for the survival of Obamacare and affirmative action seem to be remote at best. Do you want an administration and court system that takes the side of bad cops and that works feverishly to make sure your right to vote is compromised? This election is about whether you have your right at first-class citizenship and humanity. The voter suppression efforts now existing in Texas are a clear reminder of years past. They are reducing polling places, drop boxes for absentee ballots, permitting abusive poll watchers to abuse voters, and a host of other activities. Vote in honor of your ancestors, and please report any irregularities to the NAACP.
Paid for by the Communications Workers of District 6, Claude Cummings Jr., Vice President.
You're listening to
1140 AM and 92.3 FM, the legendary KYOK.
This is Brian Courtney Wilson, and you're listening to The Lunch Break. All right, y'all, we're back here at it on The Lunch Break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It is our Winning Wednesday. Got to say congratulations again to Ferdinand. He was the caller of, not the caller of the year. He was 2017, but he also is leading in the Lunch Break Weekly Pick'em Challenge, and he won this week. 12 wins, only had 2 of them wrong, and he was all by himself. So he's sitting at number 1 in the standings right now. So congratulations, Doc. Congratulations to you. All right. Let's get back to these picks before we got to get ready to get out here. Man, time sure flies when you are having sports fun. And let's see. Here we go. Who did we end up with? We ended up with the New England and Buffalo. Las Vegas at Cleveland.
Las Vegas at Cleveland. Las Vegas versus the AFC Offensive Player of the Week, Baker Mayfield. Let's see. You know.
Who will not be throwing to Odell Beckham Jr. this week. So we'll see if he can duplicate that without one of his weapons.
Yeah. Are
y'all gonna come get Bills, or are y'all gonna come get Will Fuller? Y'all coming for us, or what are y'all doing?
That's the word. Word on the street is it's just going down with Stills, but I think they feel they have enough. I think they like the rookie Donovan Peoples-Jones. They like him a lot. They like him a lot. They had him at kick returner. JoJo Natson, the kick returner for the season, tore his ACL early in the season. So they put the rookie back there, Peoples Jones. But they like what they see from him. So they may just run it out. And Rashard Higgins, that's the key. Rashard Higgins is the receiver that Baker Mayfield's his security blanket. He goes to him when in doubt. Rashard Higgins is his guy. And I think when Odell and Jarvis got here, he kind of, whether it was intentional or not, kind of was force-fed. You got to get those guys involved. But Rashard Higgins is going to be big the rest of the season without Odell. Not saying he's replacing Odell or he's better than Odell, but I think he's going to be fine. But I pick Cleveland.
All right. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I think I'm going to go with your man. This is like the least of the two evils for me. I guess I'm going to go with Cleveland. I can't ever see myself picking a John Gruden-led team.
Is this being recorded? I see this is recorded, right?
Yeah, it is.
Show? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I said. No, let me say it right. I'll pick the team from Northern Ohio. Yeah.
Team from Northern Ohio. The Akron Zips, Archbishop Holden.
Over the team from Vegas. Because I give none of them love. None of them. Neither one of them. Minnesota at Green Bay.
Come on now. Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay. Hey, rumor has it. I heard this. Let me say this. Jerry's selling. He's selling. I heard a rumor if Green Bay come correct, Amari Cooper could be on his way to Green Bay.
What?
If Green Bay comes correct.
You held up Dak from getting his change because you was trying to count it out for Amari.
Yeah. No. Word on the street.
Well, out of one of my favorite other sports, pro wrestling, there's one of the McMahons comes out. You got no chance.
Yeah. That's what you got. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with Green Bay. All right, the Jets at Kansas City. Kansas City has one of the largest point spreads that I've seen.
I saw that.
20 points. Over.
Oh, it's up to 20 now.
19 and a half.
Okay, 19 and a half. Okay.
I've never seen a half point scored, so I round up. I'm a math guy.
Fair enough.
I've never seen a 20 point point spread in NFL football.
Yeah, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad.
I want it to be worse than what they think it's going to be.
And Le'Veon is coming.
I want him to have 152 yards.
Me too.
I want Edwards-Helaire to just say, "Yo, you got it, big dog. You got it.
Yeah.
Go eat.
They might put him on the inactive list just in case. Like if you see Clyde Edwards-Helaire on the inactive list, it's a bad day for the Jets. That's all I know.
Yeah, I'm all on Kansas City on that one. The Rams at Miami, sneakingly, is a pretty good game, better than we expected. The Rams at Miami, Rams are a 4-point favorite.
Yeah, Tua's first start, and you face Aaron Donald. How about
that?
Off
a short week, though. Off of a short week. But that's still Aaron Donald.
Yeah, still Aaron Donald. And your first start. So, I mean, I gotta go. I haven't seen him. So until I see him, I gotta go to Rams.
I'm going with Rams, but I'm going with the Rams in a close one. I'm going to believe it's close. Yep. All right. Here we go. Chargers at Denver.
Man, Justin Herbert he's balling out. So
better than I thought he was. Better.
Absolutely.
If he was doing this over any other quarterback than Tyrod Taylor, I would be all hyped up. I'm not, because I think Tyrod got a raw deal. I hope that somebody will, give Tyrod a legitimate shot. But yeah, Justin Herbert. Yeah, and then the fact he goes by Herbert and not Abear, I'm a little light on him. But I got to give him credit on the field. Brother's balling a lot better than I thought he would.
Yeah, gotta go to Chargers.
And watch me be real petty. I give Anthony Lynn all the credit in the world for this. Anthony Lynn is 100% responsible for what's going on with Justin Herbert. You see what I did
Who's
there?
next? Who's next?
I did that.
Who's next?
Can I repeat myself? Do I need to say it again?
It's your show. It's your world.
Anthony Lynn gets all that credit. All that. I don't want to hear about no quarterback coach. I don't want to hear about no offensive coordinator. It's all Anthony Lynn. All Anthony.
Understood.
Yeah, man.
Understood.
Yeah, man. The second game of the week, San Francisco at Seattle.
Oh, Russ. They're coming off a loss. Russ threw a pick to set up the game-winning field goal. It's Seattle.
Yeah,
it's
I
Seattle.
think so. I think so too. I am. If defenses put more pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo with that still tender high ankle sprain, I think that they would get more value out of doing that. But when he can sit back there all day, he's like most NFL quarterbacks. He can find his man. I'm gonna give Seattle, especially if they can get Dunlap coached up and ready to go. Him, Irvin, and some of them other players, it could be nice. It could be nice.
Well, I don't think he can play because, with the the 5-day COVID requirements that they have. So, yes, I think that's why they did it today to make sure that he's ready for week 9. Because if they did it on Tuesday, he wouldn't have been ready for week 9. So,
I still got.
Oh, yeah, without question. Without question, I got Seattle.
Man, we never did really talk about it. Metcalf running old boy down.
Blew the baby.
Reception is like something I have never seen before. I mean, that is a cheat code on top of a cheat code on top of a cheat code.
He's special. He's special. And he went in the second round. 1, 2, him and A.J. Brown were the wide receiver. A.J. Brown for Tennessee were the wide receivers at Ole Miss. Who was the quarterback, and why did Cutcliffe not win there? Or who was there? Was it Orgeron? Orgeron? It was Cutcliffe, right? No.
Yeah. Was it Mullins?
Because Lane is there now in year 1. Who was there before Lane? Because I got questions. Like, how do you have all that talent? You know what? I think I saw it. A.J. Brown posted the offensive coordinator. Someone else said that, now that I think about it, on social media, like, how did you not win when you had A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf as your receivers? And I think A.J. Brown posted a picture of the offensive coordinator that was there when they played.
So it was ugly, in other words.
Yeah. Yeah, like in other words, it was the coaches. You ever seen the little kid, little Pee-wee football kid? It was the coaches. Yeah, it was the coaches.
I'm trying to find the head coaches. All right, so Houston Nutt from 08 to 11. Hugh Freeze from 12 to 16.
That's who it was.
Yeah,
No, and then so who was after Freeze?
Matt Luke was 17 to 19, and then Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. So Hugh Freeze and Matt Luke. Yeah, that's a problem because you have both those guys. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Yeah, I'm picking Seattle. Yeah, DK Metcalf is a problem.
That dude right there, man, is everything that they did not think he would be. All right, let's go. Monday night, we got Tampa Bay at the Giants.
Come on, man. Stop it. Why are you asking these questions, man? And you already know. Tampa Bay.
If you want to get in for the lunch break weekly pick'em challenge, even if you have not been in week to week, you can still get in. You have a chance to win $50 courtesy of the lunch break sponsors and listeners, and we appreciate y'all like crazy. So all you got to do is pick every one of those games that we just read off, including the Monday night game. For that game, tell me who you think's going to win and the final score of the game, the complete final score, 27-21. 15-12, whatever you think the complete final score is going to be, put that on there and you can send it to me. You can text me 832-403-5005. That's 832-403-5005. Or you can email me. AJ@KYOKsports.com. That's AJ@KYOKsports.com. All you got to do is get those in by 6 p.m. tomorrow, 6 p.m. tomorrow Central Time. So 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 5 Mountain, and 4 on the West Coast. Get them in. You'll get a response back from either me or one of the interns that'll say, got them, and then you're good to go. But don't forget, pick Thursday through Monday. Monday night, give me the final score along with the winner, and you're in. You could win $50. Look, lunch money, lunch money, lunch money. Willie, tell everybody where they can find you and follow you, brother.
Well, they can find me in about 5 minutes at the parent pickup line in my daughter's school. But after that, you can find me at Will Gibson 7, Instagram, Will Gibson 7, Twitter, and Willy Gibson on Facebook.
Go get my niece, man. Don't make her stand in that line, bro. Don't make her stand.
No. She don't like being last. She won't tell me. She'll tell my wife, Daddy, I was the last. Mommy, I was the last person. And I'm like, what? Okay. But no, she's not gonna be the last one today.
All right, Willie. Go ahead and jump off, man. We appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with me, man. We'll talk to you again soon.
My God, always appreciate the opportunity.
All right, Willy Gibson, always a good dude, man. Glad to have him on when he is able to be on. All right, y'all, we got to get ready to go. Donnie McClurkin up next with the Donnie McClurkin Show. He'll give you the best in gospel music, the latest in the gospel music industry. Donnie does his thing every Monday through Friday from 2 to 3. In the morning, you got Erica Campbell and Griff. Get up morning, 6 a.m. to 10. Make that 6 a.m. to 9. And then after that, of course, you know what we've got. We've got who comes in tomorrow? It's my girl Linda. Hey, we got Shiloh Radio, and then your boy will be back before like Thursday. Always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I love you. There's nothing that you can do about it. I'm AJ, and y'all be blessed. Okay, be blessed, and don't forget to wash your hands, wear your mask, sanitize everything around you. Be sensitive to everybody around you. Give them 6 feet, and whatever you do, when you see the racism, kill it. Not the person, the racism. Get out and vote. You can early vote until the 30th. Early vote until the 30th here in the state of Texas. All right, y'all. I'm gone. Y'all be safe. Here's Sybil.
Is underway following the police killing of a black man on the street of a West Philadelphia neighborhood Monday afternoon and protests that followed that night. Video of the incident shows the victim, 27-year-old Walter Wallace Jr., holding a knife when 2 police officers shot him several times. For the 3rd time since the year 2000, voters in Alabama have the chance to remove racist language from the state's 119-year-old constitution. The bipartisan legislation called Amendment 4 would do away with language that bans mixed-race marriages, allows poll taxes, and mandates school segregation. As coronavirus cases hit record highs in the last few days, deaths are also on the rise again. Health experts say that what the U.S. is experiencing is the result of pandemic fatigue, pandemic disbelief, and colder weather, which is forcing more people indoors where virus spread is more likely. Please visit SybilWilkes.com to subscribe to my free daily newsletter. Be informed, be empowered.
All right, y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed the show, man. Really appreciate Willie joining me on the show. Y'all keep David Grubb and everybody in the Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia area in your prayers, and then up through that northeast corridor because that's where that storm is heading. Again, man, they've been hit real hard in that area for this whole hurricane season. So our thoughts and sincere prayers go out to them. And everybody, please do me a favor. Get out and vote. Get out and vote. If you've already voted, make sure other people in your family, in your community, in your sorority or your fraternity or your groups or in your sphere of influence, make sure that they get out and vote and make sure that their loved ones get out and vote. And if you got to, take them to the polls, man. It doesn't take you long. Take them to a place where they can vote safely, vote quickly, but vote effectively. All right. So as always, y'all, not this, definitely this. We do. We love you. Y'all take care. All right. Talk to you soon.